Hey everyone, thanks for tuning into the DeYoungster Studio, where we bring guided art activities to you at home. My name is Jill McLennan. I'm a senior teaching artist at the Fine Arts Museums of San Francisco. Today, we're going to gain inspiration from a carved and painted spirit board from the island of New Guinea. Together, we will create an art piece that honors our connections to the natural and spiritual world. This presentation should take about 20 minutes, but you can go ahead and take more time at home on yours. Let's take a look at the materials that we'll need. You'll need an ordinary brown paper bag, some collage materials such as construction paper in a variety of colors, some scissors and glue, a pencil, and something to add color such as oil pastels, my favorite. Before we begin, let's learn a little bit about the place where the spirit board originated. This is a map of the island of New Guinea, a huge island in the Pacific Ocean, located just above Australia and near Indonesia. The landscape is incredible, with rivers and deltas, mountains, and tropical forests. The culture is diverse as well, with over 800 languages spoken there. Many of the people in New Guinea live with modern technology like we do today. And they might also feel a very strong connection to the special traditions and beliefs of their ancestors. Today, I am sharing a piece from our collection that was made generations ago in the Gulf of Papua in the southern region of the island. While it was used as a spirit board for some time, it was later sold when the community no longer used it. Let's begin by making the base for our spirit board. You will need your brown paper bag and some scissors. We're going to start by cutting out this side of the bag here, and that will make a nice measurement for our base of our spirit board. Once you've cut out that side of the bag, we're going to curve the corners with our scissors. You can draw the line first, like so, and then go ahead and cut it out. Just the corner like so, and then we're going to go ahead and cut the other corner here. Now you can cut out the other side of your paper bag here and then measure it to cut a second oval. Just lay your oval on top and then go ahead and draw the curved lines here and cut those out. For the third side, you could use the front of the bag here where there's a handle. So go ahead and line your oval up with the handle and cut that piece out. That way, your final spirit board will have a handle to hang up in your home somewhere. Once you have 3 ovals cut out, lay them in front of you, like so, and we're going to glue them together to create a nice sturdy board to create our design. So I'm going to use some glue. I like to water my glue down and use an old brush. So I'm going to paint the glue on here, just a little swoosh around here, swish, 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 all the way around. And then I'm going to place that right on top of this one here. I'm going to notice that there's writing on here. So I'm going to put this on top of the writing. That way we'll have a nice clean surface for our board, like so. And then I'm going to turn this over and place this other one right on top like that with some glue all around. And place this on. There we go. Now I'm going to go put this under some heavy books to let it press for a few minutes while we move on. Next, let's look at an object from our collection. This is spirit board, or gope, from the 18th century Gulf of Papua, New Guinea. When we look at this gope, or spirit board, the spirit figure emerges from the center of the design. The board depicts the features of the eyes, nose, mouth, and the navel, as well as other symbols of natural and spiritual elements. Notice how the elements are arranged symmetrically on a center line. The positive and negative space is emphasized by the carved lines and the white, black, and reddish ochre paint, which is made from pigments in the earth. One of the circles in the center of this board is the navel or belly button. The navel represents the place where the spirit enters the board, and it's our connection between the earthly realm and the spiritual realm. Do you see shapes or patterns from nature in this board? What parts of the story will inspire your own spirit board? Who or what will your spirit board honor? Will your spirit board connect to nature, to a person or plant or animal that's important to you in your life? Let's make some sketches of some of the shapes and designs that we see. Well, looking at the gope, I noticed several sort of V shapes or triangles that repeat on the sides of the board. So I might try to draw those here on my sketch paper. You can go ahead and use a pencil for your sketch. I'm just using a marker so that you can see it better. Here, there's a series of these V shapes, which creates a pattern. This pattern reminds me of a fern or some kind of leaves on a tree. What other shapes do I see? Oh, I see a sort of a shape like an arrow or maybe a flower or even a fruit. Now I'm going to think about my idea. I would like to honor the pollinators in my garden. All the bees and butterflies that have been buzzing around in the flowers. So I'm going to think about some shapes that would remind me of those insects. The bees have these nice long wings, maybe a smaller wing, long eyes, maybe some antennae, like on a butterfly. This V shape looks a lot like these V shapes over here. Maybe like a butterfly wing, kind of more of a curved wing shape. Okay, I like some of those shapes. Let's see how we could put them together into a symmetrical design. I'm going to draw a big oval to mimic the shape of my spirit board, and then a dashed line to remind me of the line of symmetry in the center. Now I can draw a shape on either side to plan out my design. Let's take the eye, for example. If I put the eye on this side like that, then on this side I'm going to put the eye like this, diagonal. Yeah. And then I have these V shapes. Maybe I'll put a few of those at the bottom and a few of those at the top to create symmetry on the top and bottom as well. I could continue that with the eyes. And then I could try one other design where I do something completely different, just to see what happens. Okay, you go ahead and try a few sketches at home. I'll show you some that I did earlier here, where I added different shapes and designs throughout my spirit board shape connections. All right, let's go ahead and look at the place where spirit boards were kept. This is a picture of the inside of a ceremonial house. Spirit boards, or gope, depict individual ancestral spirits and are hung or placed in special places inside of the big ceremonial houses. For many people in New Guinea, ancestor spirits are embodied in the earth, the river, the trees, the mountains, and the animals. When a spirit board is carved, it is sacred. The ancestors guide the carver in their design. I'm curious, do you have an object in your family that's been passed down from a person who lived long ago before you were born? Can you think of an object that reminds you of a special place or a special memory? Let's go ahead and retrieve the board from under those books. And let's think about this outside shape and how we can make it enhance our idea that we want to express. One thing we can do is alter the shape to add some other designs here. So I'm going to take my board and I'm going to lay it on top of the final side of my bag, trace around it, and then think about some shapes of insects that I might want to put sticking out from my board. Here I've drawn sort of the butterfly wing shape coming out on this side as well so that it's symmetric. And then this antenna or leg shape here. Okay, so then we're going to go ahead and cut out the entire shape and the center to create another layer for our board. Like so. Here I have an enhanced insect shape that I can glue onto my board, just the same way we glued the other layers on. Paint some glue on here, all the way around, swish, 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 and then place this on top. Line it up just so, and then place it under these books over here. Wow. Great. Now we're going to take a look back at those shapes that we were drawing earlier and think about how we can cut some of them out. Let's get some of our construction paper out here. I'm going to cut out this nice long wing shape first out of this orange paper. So I'm going to start by folding the paper so that I get two of the same shape for my symmetric design. Fold it in half, crease it, and then I can go ahead and draw my wing shape. It's curved on the top and a point, comes to a point on the bottom like that. There we go. And then when I cut it, I'm going to cut both the top and the bottom layer together to get two of the same shape. Using my other hand to just make sure that the two sides stay together, I can cut two wing shapes. All right, and then I have this left over. I might want to use this for something later, so I'm going to go ahead and set that aside here. Let's pull out some other shapes that I've already cut. Here I have a few shapes that I've cut out already, some of those triangle shapes, some of the eye shapes here. Let's see how I could arrange these symmetrically. Does an insect's wings, do they go like this or do they go like this? I think it depends on the insect, right? These triangles, they could go on overlapping. Let's see, I think that board might be ready. Let me go ahead and pull it out. Here we go. This one, we have the wing here. I'm going to go ahead and place this wing here to create symmetry like that. And then thinking about these triangular shapes, I liked how I did in my drawing at the top and at the bottom. Oh, this is the smaller one. Okay, this is the larger, then a little bit smaller here, a larger triangle, a little bit smaller. And then the eyes. Remember I had the eyes diagonal this way in my drawing, but I think to contrast the wings I might turn them this way because it takes up a nice amount of the positive negative space here, the negative space of the bag around it. Speaking of negative space, I found this shape which came out when I was cutting out these small triangles. And it reminds me of a butterfly. So I thought maybe I could use it on my design. Maybe here like that, or turned over. Oh, yes, like that. And then I have these smaller triangles which fit nicely right here on the wings. They could go up or they could go pointed down. And I'll adjust things, move them around a little bit before I decide, and then I will go ahead and glue things down. So the orange wings need to be glued down first because those are on the bottom, and then I can glue these other shapes on top. Just like I did with the layers, I'm going to paint the glue on underneath here and glue that onto the bag. And my insect design is starting to emerge. Great. The final step is to add drawing using your oil pastels or whatever you have, markers, crayons. This is another spirit board that I worked on earlier. I used the dark lines to mimic the carved lines in the board. I also noticed how the carvers used small lines and dashes and dots to enhance their designs. I can add some of those details with the oil pastels. Go ahead and take your time adding details to your design at home. Now that you've completed your spirit board, think about what it represents for you. My spirit board embodies the spirit of the insects that have been pollinating my garden. Hanging my board in my studio will remind me of all of the time I've spent in my magical garden this spring. My neighbors and I sit out in the garden in the mornings and watch the birds, the butterflies, the hummingbirds, and the bees pollinate all of the flowers and the soon-to-be vegetables that are growing in our garden. My garden has nurtured my spirit during this challenging time, and my spirit board will remain as a memory of all of the time that I've spent there and special moments that we've had. What does your spirit board mean to you? Where will you hang it in your home? What will you think of when you see your spirit board? Thank you for tuning in to the DeYoungster Studio. Tune in every Friday for another lesson. Until then, I'm Jill McLennan, Senior Teaching Artist. Take care.